Well, good afternoon, guys. It is Saturday, the 15th of January. Poor old Emma has some luck, eh? Her birthday, and yeah, her PCR test come back and it was positive. Unbelievable. Which now, because of the last 48 hours, now it's made me the only one that's negative. So, yeah, as usual, she's always behind me, Emma, and she said, you know, best place for you is outdoors, go fishing now rather than tomorrow. So yeah, here I am, back over Redlands Farm. Just arrived, literally just got my gear round. There's two guys on the field bank over there, or the road bank should I say. Yeah, got a few options, although one of them seems to be out of sorts. It's sort of one of the guys is fishing across to the swim opposite. But yeah, there's a couple of swims, there's a few swims here free, but again it depends on where the fish are. It's getting late, it's about 3:45 now, and yeah, not seeing any. I've only been here 5 minutes, but not seeing any signs. Didn't even see any signs watching from the car park. But as you can see behind me, the water is got that cold look about it properly now. Yeah, with the frost we've had in the week, we had some heavy frost in the week, which I dare say has stopped their movement a little bit. But yeah, it's going really clear actually. Oh yeah, you can see the bottom of the margins now properly. Yeah, so they've slowed up a bit. Yeah, that's for sure. But you know, we've got until a little bit later than this time tomorrow, so we've got a little over 24 hours to see if we can buy a bite. Yeah, tempted to set up here. This is where I done the last trip, which was session 7, the last trip. And I moved around here and bought another 5 bites that last afternoon. So, you know, I don't know what's happened in the week. That by all means it could have got loads of pressure and it could have moved them elsewhere, but with this side of the lake being the only one that's quiet at the minute, seems like the obvious thing to start, to be honest with you. You know, don't get me wrong, if I race down the bank and see one, I'd know where to start, but that's not the case at the minute. That is not the case at all. Yeah. Yeah, right. I'm gonna have a watch for a few minutes and decide, but I think this has got to be a good starting point with no one being on this side. Time will tell. Catch up with you in a bit. Right guys, we've got the rods out, albeit it might be a bit temporarily. I'm there or thereabouts. I've got 2 of the rods out and I was just doing an R-in where to put the left hand rod, and yeah, the bottle that marks the snag is just out there. You can see it to the right of the screen, and while I was getting that rod ready, one showed about 3 rod lengths to the left but a little bit behind it. So yeah, we're going to see if we get any liners or whatever. I'm fishing very, very tight clutches. Obviously, we don't want anything going around that bottle. So yeah, we're going to give it an hour, and if I feel I need to move around the other side and be fishing this way, so on the other side of that bottle, then that's what we do. But we shall give it an hour and see. But yeah, rods are out. Yeah, rods are out. All the clutter, the usual ASM crumb in the buckets, maggots, and some of the tier 1 monster particles mixed in ground bait. So yeah, one's gone out on a ball of ground bait. just wrapped round it, made it very sticky. I just wrapped it around a 2-ounce lead. Yeah, small ball of ground bait, and the usual short slip D hook link and braid and that one. Yeah, again, all on Wafter's tip and maggots again, in various different combinations. Yeah, everything's still on the barrow. We are just going to wait and yeah, wait for development to see what occurs. Like I say, we've seen one show, so we know we ain't too far away from them, which ain't bad considering we've been here less than an hour seeing one. But that's why I wanted to get here. As soon as then I said, go on, there's no point you sitting indoors with us lot, risking getting it, the old COVID. So yeah, I shot out, and I wanted to be here because yeah, generally if you're going to see one in the afternoons, it's not long before dark. So yeah, it paid off. I've seen one. Yeah, I've just got to decide on what's the best move. This side or that side. Time will tell, time will tell. Well, good evening guys. You join me on a very cold January night. Yeah, no, I've shortly, I moved a little while ago. As I was telling you, I see one this side of the bottle out there that marks a snag. It was the only one I see, and it was, you know, several rod lengths this side. So yeah, I'll give it till about 6:15, and then I'll move round here. It's round about 7:30 now. Had the rods out about an hour. Haven't had any liners or anything. I'm going to actually recast around about 8 o'clock the right hand rod. I dropped it in short, just again, you know, searching for liners more than anything at the moment. And yeah, I'll put 2 out in the direction of where I see that one earlier from the other side, and put the right hand rod in short. But before I get my head down, I'm going to excuse me, I'm going to reposition it and yeah, I'm going to reposition it and put it long. See if that makes a difference. Yeah, but as you know, if you've watched my previous videos, it's for some strange reason it's pretty quiet here at night. Anyway, but I expect it tonight. It's going to get down to -2, -3 tonight. As you can see by my breath, it's freezing at the moment. There's a freezing fog as well. It's getting harder and harder to see across the water. So yeah, but if we have anything in the dark, I will update you. Failing that, I'll speak to you in the morning. Good morning. Quiet night, very quiet night. And to be honest, I weren't expecting to wake up to this morning. When I went to sleep around about 10:30 last night, there was a proper heavy ground frost. I reckon it's probably around about -2, -3 at the time. And yeah, I was quite surprised to wake up and it being defrosted and mild. Probably around, not that mild, probably around about 8 degrees at the minute, 7 or 8 I should think. But yeah, looks a lot more promising than I thought it was going to this morning. I've repositioned them because obviously I moved around during the dark last night, and yeah, so I've put 2 either side the bottle out there, and 1 further left. But just made a cup of coffee. I'm going to sit here and just scan the water. If I need to move today, I'll move. We've only got up until dark to try and buy ourselves a bite. And like I say, I only see the one yesterday, which was this side. So although I only had about an hour of daylight by the time I got here yesterday, just over maybe. But yeah, certainly got to make the most of today. But the water's cleared right up, so rather than have 3 laser beams going through the water, 3 tight lines, I've put backleads on. There's so many little bars and that out there. I'm sure that if there's fish out there or close to the area, you'd get a few beeps anyway. It's a case of scanning the water really, and yeah, seeing if we can find them. I don't think they're going to be too far away. They like that area out there. I'm convinced they're always around the rock, in the right of me as well, around in the bay. But there's a guy fishing in and around that area. So all we can do is just keep watching, keep waiting for that sign of opportunity. Hopefully it will come. At the moment it's just, as usual, early morning bird life. That is it at the moment. I think it's only around about 7:45, 8 o'clock. I think it's still quite early. They don't generally show till a bit later in this. So. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed there's a bite in it today. I think we're going to have to work for it, that's for sure. It's now 10 to 9, and we're still yet to see anything. Yeah, they've definitely slowed up massively. I'd seen a few by this time last week. When I was here, but yeah, you know, I've scanned the water all around me, not so much as a bubble or anything. So at the moment all I've got to go on is that fish that showed yesterday evening. That is it. Usually where there's one, there's several. Like I say, between 10 o'clock in the morning and dark is usually the best time for a bite. So, you know, there's still the best time still to come. But we're definitely going to have to work for it. That's for sure. There's an angler to my right, over on the other bank over there. He's looks like he's getting ready to go. I know he had lines sort of this way. So I haven't been round in the bay yet to have a look. I will do when he goes. Yeah, just to search out that all important sign. Got to keep looking for that opportunity. May even switch one to a zig later. I'm a great believer in, you know, in every trip, no matter how cold it is, there is an opportunity somewhere. You just got to find it. for sure. And that's going to be the trick, because we've only got until dark. And that is going to be the trick, is finding it. At the moment I couldn't do any more other than put a zig out in towards the area where I see that one yesterday evening. One thing's for sure, if something shows and it's not in my water, I will definitely be on my toes. But yeah, when they're active and you're on them, whether you're backlidded or not, you always get some sort of indication, liner or a couple of bleeps here and there. I've not had as much as a single bleep. Yeah. May, although I don't like the tight lines going right through the water like laser beams. When the water clarity, you know, it's getting clearer and clearer. That might be the only other option, is to take the back leads off when I recast, and fish a drop on the bobbin so it registers any liners. I mean, the water wasn't as clear as it is now last week. When I moved around there on the last for the last afternoon, yeah, I was getting lines from the off. You knew they were there. They were very active, you know. At some points, you know, when I was swimming through the layers, I was getting, you know, I got a bleep from left to right or from right to left where they were going through the lines. So, but yeah, at the moment, they could just be sitting in one group up off the bottom, huddled tight together somewhere. Now the water's warmer. Now the water's colder, and yeah, because you know when they're slowing up, when that water starts getting clearer and clearer, you know they're not searching out food or moving around too much. A couple of trips ago, when they were when it was really mild during that Christmas break, the water was like mud again, and they were crashing everywhere. And but it was harder to get, you know, any sort of anything going really, because the small stuff had woke up, and they were becoming a nuisance over the baited area. Yeah, it's still early. Like I say, it must be approaching 9 now. We had a bite of 5 to 9 actually, and lost that one last week from here. That was when I realised, because I could, you know, I could see them, that they were out of my water. They were over the other side. That's why I moved. Yeah, at the moment, nothing to go on. Like I say, I will be having a look round the corner in the bay, because I know they like it round there. Yeah. Fingers crossed we get that all important sign, so we can get some rods to them. Fingers crossed, as the day warms up, something will show. On other waters, I've even known the cormorants, if the cormorants dive a lot, I've even known the cormorants to liven them up. you don't see nothing, and you get a big group of cormorants come through, and you see what, and when they, you know, as soon as they disperse, you see one or two nut out when they've actually moved. Definitely need something to happen, that's for sure. Keep on searching. Well guys, just gone 10 o'clock in the morning, but I'm pretty sure, although I didn't see it, I didn't see any cormorants come up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was one off the island there, down the side of the island. So I've pulled 2 of the rods in and put them in that direction. Yeah, nothing else to go on. I've looked in the bay. I looked in the bay earlier, but no sooner had I looked in the bay, 2 other anglers turned up to do a session. They've gone in swim 2 and 3 over there. So yeah, just got to keep an eye on the water and see what, see if we can buy ourselves that bite. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure. The 2 rods I've recast, I've actually left the back leads off of them on the hope that I can, you know, if there's any fish out there, I might get a liner. So we'll see. But yeah, at the moment it's like looking at a lot of dead water at the moment. It's definitely not moving much, that's for sure. That's the most Canadian geese I've seen here. They just kept coming. Yeah. Debating at the moment whether to move for the last part of the day and go opposite where I was on the last trip for the afternoon and just fish all of them, you know, fish for liners on all of them. I don't know at the minute. The trouble when you're not seeing a lot, you don't know what to do with the best, but that one I see last, or the only I've only seen 2, but the second one definitely seemed to be over that way. But yeah, we shall see, we shall see. Well guys, we have made a move. Yeah, we've come back to where we started yesterday. The fish that I'm pretty sure I see today was this side, so it's the very other little option really. I've got to stick in and around this area because obviously the only fish I've seen, I've scanned the whole lake, I've only seen 2 show. Water clarity is, yeah, it's becoming crystal clear, to be fair. You'll see that in a little while. I'll get a clip of it in the margin. But yeah, I've put one round to my left this time. Only about 40 yards where I've seen them before. It's quite a nice little deep gully through there as well. It's about 7 foot. Just fishing a slightly slack line, just, you know, see if we can pick up any liners, see if we can find a sign of them. But yeah, I have a funny feeling, although it ain't never going to be for the lack of trying, I have a funny feeling that this session, yeah, this 24-hour session could end in a blank. Just got that feel about it. Yeah, it's been a cold week with frosts and whatever, so. But hey, fishing again next week. With my brother and my mate Toby, we're going to go down to North Lake, eat Elphick's. Yeah, a free nighter. Yeah, we're going to get there on a Saturday afternoon and fish through till midday Tuesday. So, fingers crossed we'll have one on that trip. Yeah. Fingers crossed there's still a chance in this trip, to be fair. But, we shall see. I moved round here because the sun was beating on the back of this island as well, and it looked good, but the cloud cover's come over now, and yeah, that's been ruined a bit, but we shall see, we shall see. Still time. Just got to keep scanning that water and looking for that opportunity. There you go, guys, that's how clear it is. I haven't been able to look down in 3 foot of water, 4 foot of water and see the bottom here yet. You certainly can now. Well, one thing's for sure, guys, it's been a tough 20 odd hours we've done now, 22 hours or something. Yeah, it's been a tough one. Only 2 fish have shown. Left hand rod now I've cast a couple of times. I did have it in the base to the left. I've now put it out towards where I see that one yesterday. It's a bit further to the left. Yeah, still trying to search out that bite, but I've decided now I'm going to give it till about 3:15 and then call it a day. Yeah, I don't think there's much more I could have done, to be fair. I could have switched to, you know, to a zig, but when you haven't got your zig equipment with you, you can't even do that. So yeah, that's out of the question. Probably due a blank, to be fair. What with the water getting colder and the fish slowing up, January and February can be a bit hard going at times. Yeah, one thing's for sure, certainly can't knock the way it's gone. Definitely be putting my zig gear in for the next trip, but the next trip won't be for a couple of weeks. We've got Elphick's North Lake next, and then hopefully we get back the week after, all being well. Yeah, say, still got another hour and a half yet, so it's not over yet. Well, it's turned into a lovely afternoon, that's for sure. Nice and sunny and bright, but main thing is the rod that I repositioned a little while ago, the left hand rod, it just gives me a liner, went up to the top and back down. That's the first sign of movement I've had, so I'm going to give it till 4 o'clock. Yeah, I've made a decision, I'm going to give it till 4. I was going to wrap up about 3:15, up past 3, so yeah, it gives me about another 50 minutes, 45, 50 minutes. Yeah, to try and get a bite. To be honest, now the sun's out, it actually feels like you might get a bite, especially, you know, confidence rose a little bit with that liner. Proves that something is moving about. So yeah, fingers crossed for the last 3/4 of an hour or so. One thing's for sure, I'm definitely going to put my Zig gear in next time. Could have done with it this afternoon. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Well guys, that is we are coming to the end of session 8 of the winter ticket, and on this occasion looks like I've got my checkbook and pen, the old faithful blankety blank. But yeah, to be honest, I haven't felt even close to a bite on this session. Would have felt better if I had the option to change to a Zig earlier, but the sun's now dropping behind the trees over the back. Yeah, the sun's now setting, so I think it's a good time to get the rods in. You can feel the temperature dropping. Yeah, the chance of a bite on this session is well and truly past, I think. Still, if you like the video guys, give us a thumbs up, think about subscribing, by all means follow me, Adam Honeyset on Facebook, Adam Carp Honeyset on Instagram, and one thing's for sure, we will see you on the bank very soon. Thanks for watching guys, all the best.